here.
Okay. And we don't have minutes from our last meeting, right? Because that was just, there was nothing in the packet. That's why
I'm not, I would ask Heather, but yeah. So.
Okay. So since Rick's not on yet, do I put Jack in?
Yes, Jack is the alternate. So
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So if you're ready, CJ, we'll open. We're good?
You're good to go. Thank you.
So we will open the February 9th, 2021 Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Lansing meeting. We'll take a roll call of who's here. Maureen Cowan.
Yes.
Mary Stowe.
Present.
Pete Larson.
Here.
Jack Young.
Here.
Okay, and Judy Drake here. Since Rick Hayes is not with us at this moment, we will have Jack Young, who is our alternate, be a voting member at this time. So tonight we do have a public hearing for an appeal made by Nolan Hatfield, applicant and owner of 248 Holden Road, tax parcel 8.1-2, located in the rural agricultural zoning district for an area variance from the Town of Lansing Code Section 270, Schedule 2, which requires a 60-foot minimum setback from the center of the road. Applicant is seeking a 15-foot area variance from the minimum setback to facilitate construction of a new 40 by 60 pole barn accessory building with a 16 by 60 attached lean-to. This is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And the above referenced appeal sorting documents are on the website. And at this point, Rick has joined us.
I apologize. I had technical difficulties.
Okay, Rick.
I get that. I do too.
So Jack, I'm sorry you're not going to be voting.
No problem.
So would somebody like to move to open the public hearing?
I so move.
Thank you, Maureen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Rick. Okay, all those in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention. Okay. So the public hearing is open. Looks like Nolan, Mr. Hatfield, is with us to address the request. So at this time, Mr. Hatfield, if you would like to speak to us regarding what your request is for and why you're going to need the 15-foot area variance.
Yeah, sure. So there's only so much room between the road and my existing fence line as well, plus the grade of the land just kind of slopes right off fast towards the pasture. And if you've noticed in the lot, there is 2 trailers just south of where I want to put the barn. And if I could cheat that forward a little, it would also act as like a privacy fence between the trailers and the farmhouse, which is where we would want to live sooner than later. So,
And it would be the same distance as the other.
yeah, and the other barn that's already existing is really a lot closer to the road than the 45 feet. And I'm not sure that the house is even 60 feet away. So it's just.
Right, they would be grandfathered into the zoning. And so the lighter patch in the picture that we got, is that the field? The field's back there?
I assume so. I'm not looking at it. Yeah. So the barn would go between the trailer and the existing farmhouse. But yeah, behind that is just a field pasture. So.
Okay, and that's the fence line you're talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
When you
Okay.
say trailer, do you mean like a single wide, double wide?
There's both, one single wide, one double wide that we rent out, and it just kind of acts as a barrier between properties and, you know, visually privacy fence kind of sort of. So
Gotcha.
And if you were to move the building back 15 feet, what would be the detriment to that?
I don't know that it'll fit there
With the fence.
with the fence and as far as the size of the building. And I hate to shrink it down because the next size down is what I already have, and I outgrew that one. So doesn't take long.
Okay. Anything else you want to add at this time, Mr. Hatfield?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Do other board members have questions?
So those two trailers you're referring to, those are yours, Mr. Hatfield?
Yes, they are. Yep.
And they're not movable?
No.
Okay.
Is there any issues with how close this is to the house?
To the existing farmhouse?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So Judy, what are you referring to? Are there any codes that say that that's supposed to be a certain distance away?
Yeah, in between the farmhouse and,
So we don't have that information?
right.
Okay.
What is the code?
Without Lynn Day here, I'm not sure.
There's
What
a
was
distance
the
between a
question?
barn and a house.
Yes,
What was
CJ,
the
is there
question?
any issue with how close the barn is to the house? Is there any distance requirements
The
that have to be
proposed.
maintained there?
From a building code perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
mean, I believe you need 5 feet separation from each
Oh,
from
yeah,
each
we got plenty.
structure.
Okay, yeah, so that's not
Yeah.
not an issue. Okay.
Nolan, how fast does the grade slope off as you go to the west, it would be?
It slopes off pretty good. I added a bunch of fill last summer, and it's actually almost to the top of my fence now. If I moved it back, it drops probably 6-8 feet, which I still gonna have to add some gravel, but I can't go back to the west any farther because of the slope in my pasture.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
So pretty in there.
Could you keep a building that's the same size but shift the orientation 90 degrees?
Not really, because it's actually 56 by 60. So no matter which, I mean, I might gain a couple feet, but I want the gable end door towards the road.
And Mr. Nolan?
Yeah.
What are you using this building for?
Storage, working on farm equipment, all of the above, I guess. You know, it'll store my stuff in the winter, and I'll also work on, you know, my tractors and stuff in the haying season.
So you'll be driving into it from the east side, the road side?
The east side, and I'll also have a door on the north side that I can go between the house and the barn.
Okay. But the big doors would be on the road side.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Other questions? Well, we have the public hearing open. Jack, did you have any? Or
Just
Rick?
one quick question. The map that was submitted shows this property further from the road, this building, proposed building, further from the road than any of the existing buildings. Have any of them got variances, or is the map, just drawn a bit inaccurately?
asking you that.
I'm not
Have you
sure.
seen the map?
No, what map are we talking? The one I submitted?
Yes,
Yes.
I think they're all, I'm not sure. What's the question again?
Well, if you look at the map you submitted, the aerial photo where you've drawn on the structures, it shows
Yeah.
them further away from the road than the existing house or either of the two trailers, or of course the barn that's very close to the road right of way. And I was just curious whether any of those buildings had a variance already so that they could be within the 60-foot.
No, not in my time. They haven't. I did have to, that double wide that was there we replaced one of the old trailers, and that did meet the 60 feet setback.
Okay, so if we redrew this map, we would move the building you sketched on closer to the road than where it shows right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess so.
okay.
Yeah,
Just wanted to make sure.
Yep, I got you now. Yep.
I'm assuming the barn and the farmhouse is probably predated zoning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm
Pretty
sure.
old building.
Yeah, that house is really old.
Yeah. And you've been putting in some work there, to my understanding, on the other barn. And
Yeah. Actually, totally redid the whole barn, and
it looks good. Okay, any last minute questions while we have the public hearing open? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So we'll have a vote to, or a motion to close the public hearing. Would somebody like to move that?
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Rick. Is there a second? Pete, you want
I
a
will.
second? Okay. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Uh-huh.
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstention? Okay. So, Mr. Hatfield, at this point, it's coming back to the board for discussion. So if we have any questions for you, we'll ask you directly. In the meantime, you can sit and listen.
okay, thank you.
That's a polite way of saying that.
I get it. Yep.
Okay, so back to the board members. Discussion, any, discussion that we want to have on this? Well, I'll speak first, I guess. I guess I don't see, based on where the first barn is and the house and the trailers and stuff, that putting this building structure pole barn where they are requesting is a detriment to the surrounding areas. It seems to make sense. And we do have a letter from Herf Sheldon, a neighbor, stating that he has no issues with this request. CJ, did we get any others, or was it just this one from Herf that came in?
I don't see any additional correspondence regarding this matter. I'm checking the clerk's mailbox right now, just to double check, but I don't see anything. Just proof that we published it in the paper. That's pretty much what I'm seeing here.
Okay. Okay,
I agree with you, Judy. I'm on the same page as you. I think that it's appropriate barn in the setting that it's, going in. Yeah.
I agree. I just, I always concerned with drainage or whatever, where it goes off, but since he owns everything around it, I guess his concern would be where he puts the water, which direction it's going to flow. So it's going to be on him to make sure that the drainage is right for the area.
Right. Pete, any questions?
No, I don't have any issue with it. I think it's appropriate for the site, and yeah,
Okay.
certainly there aren't any neighbors around that are going to be sensitive to that. I think it's just that area of the town. Yeah.
Fits within the character of the agricultural zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maureen or Jack, any comments?
I agree with the other comments that were made.
Okay. Jack, anything you want to add?
No, I think it is in a part of the town where this would be unremarkable. So if none of the neighbors are upset about it, no one's got any objections, I can't see why, if I was a voting member tonight, why I would object to it.
Okay, thank you. So is the board ready to consider the resolution and findings at this time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Judy, I just want to say real quickly, I did just look through the property file here. We have a Laserfiche file, and then the records dating back to 1969. I don't see any record of any variances, previous variances. They're probably, like you said, pre-zoning the existing structures.
Yeah, it's the farmhouse. I know.
How far does that go back, CJ? 69? When did you
I know
say?
Jack asked. Yeah, we're in the process of scanning a lot still in. Yeah, this looks like we've got a septic records from Department of Health. Yeah, it looks like one in 69, one in 73. And then there's a few building permits that came much later.
Wow.
So,
Huh?
but no record of any previous variances.
So the
issued.
double
Probably
wide must be okay then.
Great. Thank you for looking at that, CJ.
Yeah, sure thing.
Okay, so we will consider the resolution and findings. This should have been in your packet. CJ, do you want me to read off all the whereases or just skip down to the resolve?
Oh, you could skip to the resolved if you
Okay.
wish. That's fine.
Okay, thank you. So we are considering the area variance for the property location of 248 Holden Road. The applicant is Nolan Hatfield. And we're considering the resolve. The Town of Lansing Zoning Board of Appeals hereby makes the following findings with respect to the specific criteria of an area variance as set forth in Town Law Section 267-B 3B and other applicable provisions of law and of the zoning ordinance. So our first question to address is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting the area variance. I would recommend no.
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 Okay. We feel that this request fits other buildings within the property. So it is not adding any kind of detriment to that area. And B, whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. I guess I would say no.
Yeah, not without financial hardship, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a different type of building, et cetera. Yeah.
And, you know, this is for farm operations, so I think the building is appropriate for farm operations. C, whether the requested area variance is substantial. So he's asking for a 15-foot out of a 60-foot variance. I guess I would say it's not substantial.
It's not substantial.
Yes.
If it were at Ladoga Point, it would be substantial.
Yeah.
Go through so many of those.
In this
Yeah.
phase, no.
Yeah. Okay. And D, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. I would say no.
No.
It seems to fit right in with that area and other buildings he has on that site. And E, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Based on my understanding of self-created, that he is asking for this request before he built it. So I don't think it is meets that definition of self-created.
Really? That's one that I've looked at a good deal, and we found, at least in Cayuga Heights, 99% of the appeals we had were self-created. This would be clearly self-created. I mean, and of course, saying yes to one of these doesn't mean you don't grant the thing. It's just though that there's very, very few which legally would be considered anything but self-created when you look at the typical workload a ZBA gets. Has any council ever advised the board on that?
So CJ, you might be able to answer this question also, but I know through some of the trainings that we had, some of the question on self-created comes into when a homeowner may put in, for example, an apartment in the basement, and the code officer finds it and they have to come in for a variance to be able to keep it. So in that case, it was self-created and they're asking for forgiveness afterwards is how we've kind of looked at that question. So I don't know, CJ, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, it's really, of course, up to the board to interpret or, make a determination on what is self-created. But yes, generally speaking, it tends to fall in the I built first and I'm gonna ask permission later kind of aspect. But I'm happy to share I haven't shared it probably in about a year, maybe more, but a great primer on area variances that was passed on to me by attorney for the town, Guy Crow. I think that will be a really great reading for all of you. And we can, of course, follow up on that with the next meeting if you'd like. So.
Sure. Okay. All right. So based on that discussion, are we still okay with no?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we will go to number 2, determination based on the above factors. It is hereby determined by the Town of Lansing Zoning Board of Appeals that the following area variance is granted.
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 Okay. With any conditions hereafter stated, if any, it being further found and determined that 1, the benefit of the applicant outweighs any potential negative impact or detriment to the neighborhood or community, and 2, such area variance are the minimum necessary is adequate to grant relief and at the same time preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the safety and welfare of the community. In balancing impact with the variance application, the placement largely within prior footprint and minimal impact on the character of the community tilt the balance in favor of granting the variance, including as all but one factor of granting the same. So description of the specific variance granted.
Can you hold up, Judy? That last sentence is odd. It looks like it was written for another variance. The placement largely within a prior footprint.
Oh, it does, yes.
So I don't know if that should just be struck.
That last sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a carryover from last month.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for catching that.
So in the description of, thank you, Pete, of the specific variance is a 15-foot variance as requested from the minimum yard setback from the 60-foot center of the road. Is there any conditions that we would be adding to this? CJ, I was going to ask, we used to have one that was, they had 1 year to carry out building or whatever it is that they're requesting. Is that still one that we're still putting on all of them?
Yeah, that's the intent. Did that not show up under statement of conditions? Maybe I sent, boy, I guess you've really, we haven't.
It says
Yeah, no, it's there.
It's on
says-
the last
Okay.
sentence.
Last
Okay.
sentence.
There.
All right, sorry
The
about
last
that.
one.
Okay, no worries. I was like, geez.
It's there.
Sorry.
No
Any
worries.
other conditions that anybody thinks should go along with granting this variance?
Nope.
Okay, so the vote on the foregoing decision, determinations, and resolution of the Town of Lansing Zoning Board of Appeals was as follows. Who would like to move this resolution?
I so move.
Thank you,
Go
Mary.
ahead.
And second was Maureen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'll go through the list of names for a vote. Richard Hayes,
Aye.
Pete Larson,
Aye.
Mary Stowe.
Aye.
Hold on, I'm missing Maureen Cowan.
I,
I'm like, oh, somebody's missing. And Judy Drake, aye. And Jack Young was alternate, so not voting. So, great. All right. So, Mr. Hatfield, your application has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy building.
Thank you.
happy building. I'm looking forward to seeing it go up when I drive by to Baker's Acres.
Beautiful. Hopefully sooner than later.
Sounds like it's gonna be full of chickens next year, according to Tori.
I know. Jeez.
He's gonna yell at me if I get any more.
We just finished her chicken coop over there. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
all.
Have a nice
Thank you.
evening.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, do we have anything else, CJ, any announcements or anything else that you want to bring to our attention before we adjourn?
Just did want to mention, well, of course, I did just mention that our staff is slightly under the weather, shall we say, at the moment. So please be patient if you're looking for a quick turnaround on any findings or decision statements or anything like that. And you did bring up Ladoga Park, and I did just want to mention that the challenge to the zoning board's previous decision has been discontinued. So in case you were concerned about that previous decision. 'Cause
I
did
didn't
you
hear
mention
about
Ladoga
that,
Park.
CJ. What is that? Which
Yeah,
decision?
so there was a recent, I think it was October 16th, decision by the zoning board that's the challenge was filed to it, but that challenge.
The Hardys at Ladoga Park? Was that who that
That's
was?
Yep, that's correct. That was
Okay.
the Quonset hut replacement project there on the Ladoga Park,
Yeah.
and it reminded me that you said that. But just recently, I received word from the attorney for the town, Guy Crow, that challenge had been discontinued. So when was that? The end of the month. It was just a few weeks that kind of lurked around. So that's it. I think that's the big news to report.
Great. Okay,
And
well, certainly hope you guys all feel better.
Yeah.
yeah, totally. And just, I'm going to try to stay healthy here, keep things rolling. The only other thing I was going to mention is that I don't know if you're interested in it, but the planning board is going to have a training on March 8th to discuss conditions and land use approvals. And it's largely related to site plan, but I was going to send you an invite just in case. That will be on Monday, March 8th. At 6:30 p.m. Basically, it's not a public meeting. It's a training session with the attorney for the town. And so we're not going to discuss any specifics, only hypotheticals, and it's not open to the public. It will be just a closed training session only, but you can feel free to ask any questions essentially you'd like. So just wanted to see if you were interested in attending, and I would send you all an invite if you wanted to come.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's kind of all the news from here.
And I would just say I've been attending some of the New York Planning Federation's 1-hour trainings. They've been very good, very interesting. So I'm glad that they're offering them, and I can just Zoom during lunch and get that time in. So
Yeah, the one from open meetings was good. I attended that one. It was a good overview. Yep. So,
Nice, Mark again. Yes, absolutely. I think he really enjoyed doing the trainings there. And is everyone receiving email on their town email address? Okay. Jack, I know that you don't have one, but everyone else is getting email there. Okay. Because we were having some wonky issues with it recently. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. Well, let's
okay.
all the news from here, the abridged version.
Do you think that we'll have a meeting in March? Have you heard anything coming down the pike?
We have not received, as it stands, any pending applications as far as I know. Certainly, when the folks are back, shall we say, we'll get a chance to regroup. As it stands right now, I don't really see that happening. But if you did, then you would have those two back-to-back meetings, one on March 8th for the training and then one on March 9th for the meeting. But we'll try to let you know, obviously, as soon as we can about that.
so is the town hall closed, CJ?
It's not closed per se, but the personnel in this particular department is not permitted to go into the building first
Okay. So
for
the
some time.
Okay, planning and
Yeah,
code.
planning and code personnel are not going to be entering the building until at least next Tuesday morning.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But we're trying to do what we can remotely, obviously, and
Sure.
if there's anything urgent, of course, just leave a voicemail and we'll or email me. And we'll do our best.
Okay. Stay well.
Yes,
you.
all you too. Absolutely,
Yeah.
good to see you all.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So I will move for adjournment. So thank you all, and we're all set for another month.
Absolutely. All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Bye.